Queenzflip and Joe Budden fight for control of Improper Improv on a behind-the-scenes episode of the Joe Budden Podcast Patreon. So, on Joe Budden's channel, there's a new effort to document the behind-the-scenes drama, and we're going to say why that might be the case later. But I really want to talk about this crazy back and forth between Ian and Queenzflip. For those of you that don't know, on the last episode of the behind-the-scenes, Flip and Ian really got into it. I'm talking about a knockdown, drag-em-out argument that was verbally assaulting on both sides. So after that, they decide on this behind the scenes to talk about what went wrong, but a lot was revealed about what's going on with Improper Improv, the creative differences, and all the drama attached to a show that is seriously struggling in its second season, amassing the lowest views the show has ever had. Alright, so here's how it went. First, Ian steps to Flip and asks for a hug and requests to speak to him privately while on camera. Then Ian admits that he felt like Flip was really angry, and he's completely right in that assertion, as Flip was calling him a white boy, getting in his face, screaming at him very aggressively. It got so bad Joe Budden had to step in and tell them to chill because they were making noise in an apartment complex where they had already received noise complaints. Then Flip admits that him saying the race stuff was out of line, but reiterates that when Ian called him an opportunist, it really bothered him. So, in the last argument, Ian tells Flip, how about all the times you reach out to me only when you need something, and then when it's convenient, you want to throw me under the bus? And then Ian says that him calling Flip an opportunist bothered him because it's true, but Flip vehemently disagrees. Then Flip gets into miscommunication the two had about the set design of Improper Improv. I guess he's saying that they were at odds over the design of Improper Improv. Now, I don't know if this is manipulation by Flip, because I would imagine he is the one who wanted the One Piece set, not Ian or Joe, because they're not anime fans, it's only Flip. So what could the miscommunication be? Then Joe Budden is on the balcony attempting to eavesdrop on the conversation, kind of looking like a little bit like, man, what's going on here? Now, it's obviously a joke or maybe done in jest, but I do think Joe is really curious to listen in on Flip and Ian's conversation. Now, I feel like that's kind of an analogy for the relationship between Flip, Ian, and Joe, where Flip tries to treat Ian as if he's separate from Joe, but really Ian is just executing the vision of Joe Budden, and I don't think Flip wants to acknowledge that. Then Flip calls out Ian for not painting the room or something like that. I guess the room of, that One Piece set needed to be painted or adjusted, and I guess Flip felt some type of way. Then Flip pivots back and talks about how he mentioned the race stuff with regards to Ian, and says it's a result of Ian being tone deaf in how he comes off. Ian responds by saying Flip is tone deaf, and I actually think the two have an accurate assessment of each other, and I believe it's actually Flip who is the most tone deaf. I feel like Flip during this whole conversation is doing a great masterclass of manipulation. I mean, he's calling someone else tone deaf. Isn't that wild? After that, Flip follows up by telling Ian he speaks to people condescendingly, with Ian pointing out that Flip is stealing talking points from online. Now, I think Ian is completely right, as Flip does have a tendency to parrot the talking points he hears on Reddit or on Twitter Spaces or in Twitter communities and use it to bolster his kind of argument against other people. Like, you will see him actively go on message boards, then go back to the pod and use those same talking points. And I say that because the perception of Ian online is that he is condescending. Like, I run a Reddit, the Joe Budden Network, and in that Reddit, they hate Ian's guts. Like, they completely think he's trash. They think he's a horrible person. They think he's the reason the show went to Patreon. And, I mean, that's what Flip is utilizing when he's going back at Ian. But the crazy thing is that it doesn't seem like folks really acknowledge that Joe has said on multiple occasions that Ian changed his life. So, I don't know what's the tension there, But let me know what you think in the comments. Do you feel like Ian is really condescending? Ian then admits he isn't empathetic, and Flip says he wants to be taken seriously. Now, I don't know why Flip is saying he wants to be taken seriously when the reason he's seen as not serious is because of his actions. Things like flipping out on screen, always arguing, only getting louder when his point isn't taken the way he wants. He is actively participating in the reason people laugh at him behind the scenes. Then Flip says the footage that was released made him feel bad. He's talking about that argument that happened on the last behind the scenes, and Ian then shares that he's working on ideas for Improper Improv, signaling how invested he is in the success of the show. And then it gets really real when Ian straight up asks Flip if he wants him involved in the creation of Improper Improv, and says it's a huge time commitment. And Flip says he does want him to be a part of Improper Improv, but that he had issues with the lack of accountability as a team in regards to the first episode of the show. Now, that's another great manipulation tactic by Flip there, as it's well documented that Flip did not want Joe on the show. He wanted to do it by himself, yet he went on Spaces and said he wanted Joe there.
Joe was supposed to be there, period. He's supposed to be there. They hit me with some shit beforehand. Like, yo, it hit me with some shit in the middle of the negotiation.
Also, he was the one fighting for control of the show as to where it would air. So he's taking a lack of accountability from him and trying to pair it to someone else. Like, hey, you are the ones who are not being held accountable for how episode 1. But even Joe would call him out for arriving late to episode 1. He arrived like 20 minutes before the show.
You know what the issue is? Sometimes the master of ceremony has to come out and be the master of the ceremony. Like, gotta really show why he's him. You get into this because you're scared of success. You get into this shell where anything that could help you be successful, you rather not do it and lean on all of the ceremonious people. So it falls on you. As the master of the ceremony, you get the perks and you get the ills.
And then he even booked guys like Lansky for the show. And I'm like, you couldn't tell that Lansky probably would have been a bad person to have on the show? I don't know, Flip. You need to take accountability. After that, Ian speaks with Corey about how he plans to record the show, and anyone can be recorded once they are in the studio. Now, this is a bit of a controversy because one would ask, hey, if you are being recorded behind the scenes, are you being compensated, or is your payment structure being adjusted for that extra revenue stream? Now, this is an interesting dialogue because Joe Budden is one that always proclaims to want to fight for creators. So are the creators on the show seen as people who deserve extra money? Right? Is Imani a creator? Is Ish a creator? Flip is definitely a creator. There's no question about that. Is Melissa Ford a creator? And I truly think the members of the show really hold themselves back because they don't view themselves as creators. They just see themselves as people clocking in, and they're not thinking about how their brands. Maybe Ish is with the launch of his clothing line, but I remember how long he used to fight against the critique that he was a podcaster. And what is the real reason the show has decided to do behind the scenes footage? I feel like there's a deeper, darker criminal link, and while I think it's a great idea, I suggest that Joe Budden and Ian are using it as a form of supervising. If he's able to document, these people are arriving late all the time. They don't come when they're supposed to. Then you got Flip acting like a wild man behind the scenes. It's very difficult to do a show with him. It lets the world know, hey, I'm not the problem, guys. It's these folks. They don't take this serious. So we'll see how this goes. I would imagine if Flip is bringing it up on the pod, that other people are talking about it as well. Also, for those who do have the Patreon, do you like the behind the scenes stuff? I love it, but when I said I liked it online, people were like, I don't know, it feels like a watered down version of what's going on. But I still feel like even in the stuff that's watered down, you can kind of glean insights into what's actually happening. I look forward to future versions of this. I also think that the show itself, Improper Improv, is still a chaotic mess. I'm going to react to Flip allegedly destroying the set, which is a funny conversation to have because in this Patreon, he's talking about how he wants to change the set. So it kind of makes sense that he wants to destroy the set anyway. Something we'll talk about at a later date. I also want to end this by saying I've decided to launch a new podcast. The podcast, Homecoming University. It's a podcast about podcasts. And the host of it are DJ the Demon and Jay Groove with Tommy in the background. Now, I really feel like this podcast is going to revolutionize the game. I mean, a podcast about podcasts that unwittingly talks about things that are very important to the culture will be so important. So stay tuned to the end of this video to watch episode 1. Alright, y'all. Follow me on Instagram, The Stop TV. Follow me on Twitter, The Stop TV. This is Daddy from The Stop. Peace.
Yeah, so I was in the shower this morning, and you saw washing yourself, and you got to get the good, what's the thing called? The conditioner shampoo. Because if you get the 3-in-1, that costs too much. And you got to go to the grocery store, and then eggs is all. God knows how much eggs is.
Yeah, I hate stuff like that. I hate that. But speaking of hate, did you peep how Charlamagne was hating on us the other day?
What Charlamagne said?
Because I was watching the podcast, and he said he was watching Spider-Man Homecoming, and that was the worst one of the Marvel Universe. Now, Spider-Man, Homecoming, University. Now, all you got to do is read between the lines, move some of the lines over, replace some of the words, Homecoming, University. He's talking about us again.
You don't think Charlamagne was just watching a movie?
No. Homecoming, Universe, Marvel. See, it doesn't ring?
The thing about what I don't like about those movies is when you in the line for the popcorn, that's when people be walking all around. And I don't even think you like Charlamagne like that.
First of all, I'm a Charlamagne fan. I started podcasting because of the Breakfast Club. I don't understand why he hates on me. The other day I saw a tweet. He said he don't like people in purple socks. 3 days later, I went out and bought purple socks. How can you hate on me from the past and manifest into the future? I don't get it.
You don't think that guy don't like ankle socks?
Yeah, I don't know, guys. I don't feel like he's talking. Like, I don't know what you think, Jago. I feel like DJ's kind of reaching right now.
No.
Yeah, you really going crazy right now.
I'm the one reaching. He's the one reaching. He said, I don't think you pay attention to the words and how he puts the words together.
You know what it is? I don't watch Breakfast Club.
It's the reason why we all started this thing.
Mm-hmm. But the thing is, like, when I eat breakfast, I normally don't be like jumping in thinking about Charlamagne. That's like you do that.
I don't think about Charlamagne. Charlamagne thinks about me when he wakes up. He says one day he woke up, stubbed his big toe. Who looks like a big toe? You see what I mean? He's taking indirect shots at me all the time.
All right, man. It looks like you have an axe to grind with Charlamagne, but I quite frankly love him.
Yeah, man, you're not really making sense right now.
I feel like we're not moving like a unit.
Who put the battery in your back?
I need you to stay on topic. I need both of you guys to stay on topic because we're talking about how we can make the show better and how Charlamagne is hating on the show. And then you keep...
You trying to dance? Like, what you trying to do? I love the Worm. I used to do the Worm a lot when I was a kid. Scotty Too Hot is my favorite wrestler.
That's what you got from everything?
Put your phone off, man. Come on, man.
You know what it was? Probably Charlamagne. It was a tweet. Charlamagne probably tweeting about me right now. Tweet. I would read the tweet. I feel like it could have been probably a spam account.
What did the tweet say?
It said, "No place like home."
You don't think he's going home for the holidays?
That was not even him who said it, but it was someone else that said it.
Oh.
But I felt like they fed off his energy. No place like home. This is unnecessary.
What's your issue with him? Like, I feel like you have an addiction towards like talking about this man, and you've mentioned it countless times. I don't know what the hell is your problem. You're always forcing me and Jay Groove to talk about it. You curse me out backstage. You tell me mean things about how I should stay off mic. It's very hurtful. I don't understand that, man. You're full of shit. You're full of shit. He's full of shit.
Everything is for. You know what?
I'm uncomfortable.
I need a
You
break.
should stop talking about Charlamagne.
I need. I can't do this. I can't do this, John. I can't do this, John. Ian, this is DJ. This is DJ the Demon. I need to get back on the Joe Budden show. There's some things I need to get off my chest. My co-hosts, they're not on my side. They're not seeing things the way I see it. They're not seeing the attacks that are coming upon me. It's not fair. It's egregious. It's not okay. I need to get back on the Joe Budden show. I need to feel around people who appreciate me and hate Charlamagne as much as I do. These guys don't get it. They don't understand. They don't understand the process. They're not getting it.
Like I was saying, I was in the show. I was getting my eggs. It was going crazy. Getting the eggs. Get a carton of milk. Can't really do oat milk like that. Regular milk.
Come on, I'll do it for a discount price. I'll do it for free. You know, I'll even suck something.